Hello, hello, everybody.
Hey there, Ross. How's it going?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Glad to hear that. Yeah, likewise, likewise.
Nice. We got a bit of a lighter crew today. Not too many people signed up, so we can go over some more question and answers. If you guys have any items that you want to discuss, in general, we'll go over our latest updates. We'll go over a quick little strategy on some information with generating new leads through social media. Some of the things that I've been doing lately that have been working that you guys can copy, and then, of course, our general Q&A session at the end.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Go ahead and share my screen here. All right. We got a couple new items to mention, and of course, you can always see and stay up to date with our latest updates with roadmap.stammer. You can also see all the information and updates via the little icon, the little rocket icon in the top right hand corner. This will give you all the latest information on the latest updates. So we just pushed an update, so there'll be an update to this changelog later today, where we talk about some of these latest updates and features. One of them is further expansion of the features within the notifications section. So we've been adding this because a lot of people have been asking about how to track the analytics and all the different things from their bots. And so this is exactly how you'll be able to do that. You can track when new users sign up, which could be people that are on free trials, in addition to tracking new subscribers. And this can be information that you can use and pipe into your CRM to update your pipeline and things like that. And so you would paste in, for example, if you're using Go High Level, you could paste in your webhook URL right here, and then that would allow you to send all the information from new paid subscribers to your CRM. You can do that for all of the usage statistics as well, which is quite useful. So you can set this up for your agency, but you can also set this up for any of your individual sub accounts. So when you go into a sub account here, you now see that there's an option to set up account notifications that you can use for yourself or for your sub account, depending on how you're interacting with your clients. So those are two of the new additions within the account notifications section for your agency and your sub account. And then next we have a small change. Some people are updating and adding their own documentation rather than the native white label documentation, especially if you're using a different language. So you can now uncheck this box, which will make it so that way your sub accounts are not able to see the default white label documentation. Now, if you want to add your own, the way that most agencies are doing that is through custom menu links. A custom menu link is basically just a link that will get added to the left-hand menu column here for your sub accounts. And so you can put in anything that you want. And a lot of people have been putting in links to like Notion documents and things like that to help their clients learn, how to do prompting within the context of their agency and their specific niche/use case. For everyone who just joined, thanks for joining. We're going over some of the new updates, and we have a quick little tutorial on some lead generation strategies with social media that have been working lately. And then, of course, we'll go into the general question and answers at the end. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and either myself or someone from the Stammer team will get to your answer, and then we can review it during the end of the call. So that sums up most of the updates. Again, there's going to be another update to the changelog later today with more information. And of course, I'll create a video and post that to our YouTube at Stammer AI as well. So be out on the lookout. Make sure to subscribe to that. Quickly, I just wanted to showcase a social media strategy that has been working rather well. And I want to preface that this is really useful, especially for brand new accounts. One of the things that the algorithm is favoring now is not necessarily established accounts where somebody has a bunch of followers or is getting a bunch of action on a daily basis. If you can make a good video that gets a lot of engagement, the algorithm will continue to push that video and you'll be able to generate a lot of leads. And the way that I want to illustrate that is from one of these videos that I posted the other day, where it has less than 10,000 views, 8,500 views. It has over 300 comments on this video, and half of which are my responses to their comments using automation sequences, which is what I'm going to show you today. But the whole concept here is you can post content and be able to have a lot of people engage with it comparatively to how many views it might get. And in order to do that, you can use the automations and sequences within things like ManyChat or Go High Level to automate that and pipe that to an AI agent that can start talking and responding with a user. So this works off of the tutorial that I was talking about last week, which I'll post links about in on the YouTube recording of this video. But this video that I posted is essentially asking people to DM me or leave a comment with a specific keyword. And then when that keyword is triggered or is sent by a user, I can have automations inside GHL work off of that to create a conversation with a user where it not only gets them to opt in for a free value piece of information. And in this case, it was an SEO guide, like so. So this allows me to capture their information, which will allow me to add them to a newsletter and further follow-ups. But where the action really comes into play is when we use the automation sequences to create conversations. And so the way that I've done this, and I'm going to have a full step-by-step guide coming out on YouTube soon, essentially is massive automation sequence that will figure out what people are going to say, for example, like SEO guide, and then it will be able to send them a link to the specific Gumroad free value opt-in resource to collect their information. And that could be a landing page that has a forum or something for people to collect their information. And it works them through a conversation where eventually, if they respond to that conversation, we can set up an automation that it sends that information to a chatbot inside Stammer, where the AI can then take over the conversation away from the static flow. And so the benefit of this, and I know this might look extremely complicated, the benefit of this is we're getting the static results of capturing people's information up front on top of being able to have a dynamic conversation where an AI agent is following up and responding to the user based off of what they're talking about. So these two in together work to create a pretty powerful automation and AI and automation sequence. And this is what a lot of agencies are starting to sell as their specific use case or niche for what they're trying to do. That is that quick little thing. And I see we've already got some questions in here. Alan, thanks for joining. No worries, you're right on time. Alan says, I have a question about the prompt. I'm indexing specific front pages, but still getting responses that appear to be general OpenAI responses, not associated with the indexed URLs. I use scrape only the entered URL, do not follow links. Do you think I could solve this problem with a more concise prompt? So the first step would be to go into the AI agent and ensure that you have the debug mode setting turned on. So for everyone watching, you can go into the advanced settings of any AI agent, and at the very bottom there's this option called debug mode. And this will allow you to see what is actually being picked up by the information inside your knowledge base. And then if you're scraping a lot of links, Alan, like you mentioned, it will show you the links of where it's getting that information. So that will be step one, just to ensure that the information that it's supposed to know is there. Now, if it's still getting information outside of that knowledge base, then we would need to go into your prompt and write in a line that says something to the effect of make sure that you're only using the information from the knowledge base function to ensure that you're getting contextual correct responses. Tim, is there any other information that you could share maybe to help with that?
No, I mean, I think you explained it very concisely and correctly. You have to look in the debug mode in order to see kind of why it might not be responding as you expect. And then, of course, your input data sets need to be properly formatted for a semantic search to work. So headings, summarizations, stuff like that inside the actual data that you're scraping.
One of the other things, Alan, that could also be helpful is having a example conversation inside the prompt. That's one of the things that we're starting to see these agents kind of respond a little bit better to. So for example, in that example conversation, you could have a question that is completely off topic, and then the agent's response in that scenario could be something to get them back on topic within the context of the conversation. But yeah, I think other than that, we would need to kind of go into your account. So I think if you haven't already, please open a support ticket and we'll be able to get that sorted for you. Yeah, and like I mentioned, having a conversation in there is quite useful. Like Tim was mentioning, having different kind of sections and headers is also useful. And a lot of this information can be found directly inside the prompting guide, writing a base system prompt. So we can see some examples here of example conversation of what the customer or user would say, and then what the AI agent might say in response, as well as being able to, oh, yeah, format the responses using clear and concise language. Like that's the default option that we put in here. But if you're using this for other scenarios or other use cases, like I was talking with a user in Discord the other day about how they're going to use this to generate email responses. So you can update this to instead say use clear, concise language and short responses. Make it be write it as an email. Here's an example of what that email might look like, and then that's what the output will turn up as. That's very useful if you're using this with the API and things like that. Alan asks, does the URL indexer have a maximum number of URLs? Not technically, no. Tim?
Yeah, no, I mean, not technically. That being said, we don't have a lot of use cases where people are crawling, to be honest, thousands of URLs because it usually doesn't work well.
Yeah,
That data
correct.
is going to be dirty, not appropriate. Where it works best is to have a subset that you define. You'll notice that for us, we do docs.stammer.ai as well as our homepage.
Yeah, so the true limitation is through the amount of characters that are used to do the storage. I want to index the front page only, but for maybe hundreds of URLs. I mean, yeah, you can do that. I mean, the Stammer documentation's got 100 URLs and it's trained by all the data on here. So you could train your home page as just the single page and then recursively train all the other pages if that's kind of what you mean. Each URL is a different company and domain. So in that scenario, you could just paste in all the different URLs that you want to scrape, and then you could scrape them all individually or scrape them all recursively. And that's actually one of the newer features that we put out recently, where you can scrape and paste in multiple URLs. Cool. Yeah, and just another quick shout out to the documentation. There's a lot of stuff that gets added to this, but the main information is all here. So definitely, when you're getting started, definitely just kind of look through it or use the bot to figure out where to look for certain things, because that's quite useful. Okay, thanks. And this is where I'm getting non-index responses. Yeah, so I think for here, Alan, we'll have to just open a ticket for you to figure out kind of which URLs, because I'm not too sure which direction you're trying to go in here. Let me get you a link, or Drew, can you get a link for that? But otherwise, I'll open up to the have a business model that creates good income. Would you like me to share it? I mean, yeah, that'd be great.
How about that? Can you hear me?
Hey, there we go. How's it going?
Hi guys. I'm the always entrepreneur. I'm new to it, so I've found your product. We use it meticulously. I'm the guy that mixes your product with someone else's, a video and your product. It's going really well. But we've come across a new market that we like, and I think all of your clients could use it. I'm happy to tell you how we do it, because I think there's enough business globally that it's not going to affect us. So what we're doing is looking for the small regional free newspapers that go out weekly to typically small parochial local markets like farm environments or small towns. And they're driven by advertising. They simply are full of ads with a few news stories of, Marcia won the horse riding and there's a fate today, come along. But all those advertisers pay, quite cheap rates, 10 to 50 or maybe $300 a month to put their ad in. And it's usually a quarter, half page or a full page. So I've approached quite a few of those, primarily in New Zealand and Australia, and said, listen, those people only get a one-shot view of exposing their ad, which is your monthly or your weekly market. If you would give me all the details of those URLs and their advertising, I'll build a chat, obviously your product, and I will build an index, which is probably just a page, and then I'll index that chatbot. Then that newspaper can go to their market and say, hey, there's a follow-up here. And for an extra $5 a week or $10, so you're not going to break the bank over this. They're already paying 20 or 50 or $100 a month. Ask them for another $5 or $10 to be on our regional chat. So the chatbot might be called westmeltonnews.com to follow the newspaper's brand. And hey, you've got a market. It's ready made. Those people seldom say no. The people that are paying 50 or $100 a month seldom say no for another $10. You just got yourself another free $10 a month, and there's usually hundreds of them. And in your region, wherever you are, I'll bet you there's hundreds and hundreds of these free newspapers that just get by as a social service, but it generates revenue for usually a printing company that does, printing, old school printing. It's how they can use their equipment and get a free paper out there, because paper's pretty cheap. Getting it out there is pretty cheap, but it's a completely untapped market. Clearly, the user, the advertiser, is wanting to advertise. They want market. So we're not bringing about a new story to them, and we're not going to hassle them and turn them into something they don't want to be. We're just saying another $5 or $10, and we'll expose you for the cost of basically buying more chatbots from you guys. We've tried it for about a month, and we've signed up about 4 regional newspapers, and we've got nearly 60% uptake on advertisers.
Nice.
Real simple.
How did you find
what these questions are about? I'm trying to index all the individual, there might be 300 clients in the region. So I just want their front page. So it brings up usually their contact page. I find that, chuck it in there, but I might have 2 tire companies. And when I ask, do you have tires? It appears that the OpenAI, or however you're serving up the data, it appears that it's looking outside of my indexed pages, but I can't track it down.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to kill the bank right now because the business model is working, and it's an easy one for anyone using, the chatbot to build new little markets.
How did you find the decision makers for these local newspapers?
I just did a sample chatbot, indexed their site, and sent it to them. So
Nice.
all of my business is done by building a chatbot to my target market, and I just send them that link and say, here, look what we've done. And some of them go, what the hell? What'd you do that for? And most of them go, oh my God, that's amazing. And then you've engaged at least. So even the ones that are a bit, hey, what'd you do that for? We didn't ask you to. It doesn't matter. You can get past that. I just simply go to the back of the paper, find their contact details, and just email them a sample. So quick to build, a chatbot and just send it to them with maybe 5 indexes of their customers and an index of their historical sites. And so, look, people will stay engaged now, because a lot of your new market, the old school market, who read the paper, they've got kids now that use phones, and, they're all transitioning. So you've got to keep up. And usually they go, yeah, that's right. We just don't know how. Well, here's how. And you've got a new market. And out of that, you'll also find people who will then be advertising for the $5 or $10 we're going to charge them, who want more services. They'll go, hey, this is good. How can you help us? So easy market.
Nice. That's a good little piece of data for everyone watching.
Yeah, go for it. So I'll get onto the help, and if you can help me refine or understand what's happening with those, it looks to me like we're pulling data outside those indexes, but I don't understand why that is. So I'll send you some stories.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have the team look into that, and we'll get that sorted. Cool. Any other questions that people might have? Please feel free to put it in the chat or start talking. Some other quick shout outs. We're actively improving and working with the Meta team right now for improving the integrations. We're working on improving all of those: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and I think that'll pretty much do it for this week. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thanks guys. See ya.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.